Frances, just want to get your view both as former Justice Minister and also as former chair of the Women's Council. The story in respect of the family courts needing radical overhaul. This is the suggestion that the use of experts in family courts needs to be reanalysed because it is delivering neither for victims nor for the process. It's
a very interesting new report that Women's Aid has commissioned from a number of universities. The bottom line on it is they're talking about the constitutional changes I brought in the referendum for children were about, in all cases with children in these courts, you should have the best interests of the child and the voice of the child should be respected. And this report is saying that that isn't being implemented enough within the courts and that some of the experts who are brought into court, first of all, are not qualified enough and secondly, are really building on this concept of parental alienation, which generally means that it often means that women who are trying to protect their children are accused of alienating the children from the other parent. And the question is, how do you make sure that the voice of the child, the best interests of the child are paramount? And this has been bubbling under the surface. I remember meeting many groups in relation to this when I was in Justice. And the whole question of, the rights of the parent who has custody and the other parent, access rights, supervised access, all of this is connected with this. How do you make sure that the right decisions, and they're not easy, because parents will have completely different stories about abuse and what happened and what didn't happen. But it's to make sure, let's make sure the child is centre stage and is listened to and that the experts listen to them. And it's very surprising if the experts don't listen to the children.
The Women's Aid report is essentially, if I understand it correctly, saying that courts are leaning on the testimony of experts whose expertise may not actually be there.
That's what they're saying, that we have to make sure the experts are registered. And they're also, I think, accusing some experts of a sort of an ideological bias that doesn't support, in these cases generally, the mother with the child and is giving access to parents who may be abusive. Very serious.
The story, of course, is in the Mail on Sunday, your paper, John. The instances being cited here of children who disclosed experiences of physical restraint and assault by an abusive parent, but this information either ignored, challenged as its truth, or changed and reported instead of the act of the other parent. I mean, they're fairly egregious errors for a family court to make.
There seem to be, and Sarah Benson of Women's Aid has herself, and frankly, a lot of the information I gain about this area is from Debbie McCann's report in today's paper in the Mail on Sunday. And she feels they're egregious failures. So essentially, as you said, the voices of children are not being heard at all. And it would seem from the Women's Aid report that people without qualifications, sufficient qualifications, are giving evidence to the courts. What chills me somewhat is that our reporter Debbie McCann has gone to the Department of Justice and they've gone, we'll have a look at this report. So this has not been done by the government. This has been done by independent agencies in cooperation with Trinity College, where they have looked at it, and it would appear that the Department of Justice now has to go and read independent reports to deal with major problems in the courts, the family courts.
John?
I suppose the final point is, do we have even enough experts? I think if we're calling into question the expertise of these experts, there's been long-standing issue about, do we have enough social workers? Do we have enough social care workers in Ireland who are able to intervene and support families through all of this process, who can provide that kind of expert witness?
I think we probably have the experts, but it's to make sure they're registered. And the other point that Sarah is making, and the researchers from Trinity and UCC are saying, is please train these people in understanding domestic and gender-based violence. Make sure that there's training, that they get the dynamics of what goes on in families when there is domestic violence.